everybody. Thanks for being here today. I'm Kara Trott. I'm a 1983 graduate of Ohio Wesleyan, a member of the Board of Trustees and the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees. And I'm really thankful for everybody being here today to watch and be a part of this exciting announcement. Today's news is going to strengthen Ohio Wesleyan's standing as a premier liberal arts university and create exciting new opportunities for students and faculty. Here to share the news is OWU's 16th president, Rock Jones, who's worked tirelessly with many others throughout the university to make this moment happen. Rock, the show is yours.
Thank you, Kara. Good morning to all of you. I am pleased to welcome all of you who have gathered here on campus, including students, faculty, staff, family, friends, and alumni from Central Ohio, and many leaders from the local community. And I welcome all of you who are joining by web stream from across the country and around the world. Here's a shout out to Marshall Morris, who sent me an email yesterday. He's watching from Costa Rica, a graduate of the class of 2013. Welcome, Marshall, and all who are watching by web stream. We gather here today in the heart of the academic campus under the canopy of trees that have been here nearly as long as the university, and surrounded by buildings that reflect the grand past of Ohio Wesleyan. Not by coincidence, we gather adjacent to Merrick Hall. Merrick Hall was first envisioned in the 1850s and opened in 1873. Merrick is unique to our campus in terms of architectural and material design. It's the only building on our campus built from blue limestone taken from the quarry behind where Manette Hall sat. From the beginning, Merrick Hall was a reflection of the commitment of the Ohio Wesleyan faculty to excellence on the cutting edge of undergraduate liberal education. In the mid-19th century, the most rapidly changing feature of curricula on American college campuses was the widespread introduction of instruction in the sciences. Long before most campuses, Ohio Wesleyan's founders envisioned a building devoted solely to the teaching of science. That building became Merrick Hall. Today, nearly 14 decades after the construction of Merrick Hall, Ohio Wesleyan enjoys a long-standing and well-deserved reputation for its outstanding curriculum in the sciences. This building reflects the pioneering spirit and the visionary thinking of our founders. Today, our faculty continues to hone the curriculum to reflect the pedagogies most relevant to the time in which we now find ourselves. Recently, the faculty adopted the OWU Connection, which gives students the opportunity to make connections between theoretical lessons in the classroom and practical experiences in the real world, to bring interdisciplinary cohesion to their learning, and to make an OWU education global in every way possible. Once again, Ohio Wesleyan's faculty is leading the way, enriching the experience of OWU students with enhancements to the curriculum that reflect the introduction of robust opportunities for experiential learning in a global setting, reflecting the most rapidly changing feature of curricula on American college campuses in this era. Back to Merrick Hall. For more than 3 decades, members of the Ohio Wesleyan family have dreamed of the day when this historic treasure would return to life. In the winter, a group of faculty and staff chaired by Dale Schwartzentruber gathered ideas from the campus and brought forward a vision for the future of Merrick Hall as a center of academic excellence and opportunity. The vision included housing the OWU Connection on the first floor, a state-of-the-art suite of classrooms and seminar rooms with the most advanced technology and available to every academic department on the second floor, and the restoration of the third floor with its soaring ceiling, Gothic arches, and magnificent windows as a grand space for lectures, concerts, receptions, dinners, and renewal of the grounds surrounding us, including the possible development of a patio just behind where I am standing, which could become the future setting of commencement. This brings us to our purpose for gathering today. It is my great honor and happy privilege to announce that Ohio Wesleyan today has received a commitment of $8 million to fund the full restoration of Merrick Hall. Merrick Hall will return to life. Our anonymous donors met at and graduated from Ohio Wesleyan. They have responded to the work of this faculty and the vision of this campus with the largest single outright gift in our history. This is a historic day for Ohio Wesleyan. We will begin immediately a process to design the restoration with an ambitious timeline for completion in 20 months. We will seek to preserve the historic beauty and architectural charm of the building while also developing the building with all of the amenities, technologies, and sustainable, environmentally friendly materials to which this campus is so fully committed. This gift builds on the legacy of philanthropy that has been the foundation of Ohio Wesleyan from the time of its founding. This day is made possible by the extraordinary, selfless generosity of two people who believe in Ohio Wesleyan, who cherish what it meant to them and to their generation of students, but who believe that the best is yet to come. Their commitment is an acknowledgement of the dedicated work of our faculty and staff and an extraordinary vote of confidence in our future. Most importantly, their gift is an investment in the generations of students who will follow, and who, with the benefit of an Ohio Wesleyan education, will emerge as leaders in every sector of the global society in which they will live and work. I can think of no better investment in the future than one that strengthens the ability of Ohio Wesleyan University to provide this education in the context of this historic campus. While our donors insist on anonymity, they shared these comments, and I quote, "Ohio Wesleyan has created quite a vision with its commitment to preparing students for global citizenship and leadership. We are pleased that we are able to give back to a university that has given us so much, including each other. We can't wait to see the renovation come to fruition and to see how students incorporate the new building and its technology into their OWU experiences." In the early pages of the centennial history of Ohio Wesleyan, penned by Henry Clyde Hubbard and published in 1942, we read these words written by Professor William G. Williams, one of Ohio Wesleyan's earliest faculty members. The words are recorded in the small book of the earliest minutes of meetings of this faculty. Quote, "It was the beginning, though humble, of a momentous movement whose influences have been felt around the globe." End quote. It surely must have been more vision than reality 17 decades ago to imagine the influences of Ohio Wesleyan to be felt around the world. And yet, 17 decades later, in this historic setting, we know the truth of that statement. And as we look to the decades to come, where we seek to prepare moral leaders for a global society, with the added benefit of the renaissance of this historic building, may we think of this day as yet another beginning, though humble, of a momentous movement whose influences are felt around the globe. Knowing that this gift is in no small part an endorsement of the vision and accomplishment of the Ohio Wesleyan faculty, it is now my pleasure to introduce the chair of the faculty's University Governance Committee, Professor of Botany Microbiology, Chris Wolverton, who then will be followed by one of our students, Ara Ramesh, a rising senior, history and economics double major from Bangalore, India. Dr. Wolverton.
Thanks. When the faculty came together several years ago to discuss the evolution of our curriculum, several principles stood out. Foremost among them was the idea of connections. Now, several years later, we have created frameworks for connections like travel learning classes, course connections. These innovations have sparked excitement among students and faculty alike, and curricular changes like these deserve a unifying space. Merrick Hall is an ideal location to serve that role. It's right here in the center of the academic heart of our campus, and it will allow us to unite students and faculty across disciplines. Choosing to invest in this historic space reflects our commitment to both our past and our future. We are a liberal arts college, full stop. At the same time, we're actively investing to help our students see the many ways that they can apply their liberal arts education. In effect, we're beginning with what has stood the test of time, just like this building has, and renewing our commitment to it. My faculty colleagues and I are extremely grateful for this gift. It awakens this great historic building from dormancy and allows us to engage, to challenge, and to connect with students of Ohio Wesleyan as they connect with the world for many decades to come. Thanks.
I'd like to start off by saying that when I tell people I'm from India, the first question I get is why Ohio Wesleyan? Because let's face it, the middle of Ohio isn't some place you expect to hear about, in a place that is 8,610 miles away from here. I Googled it last night. It's a valid question. When I came here in August 2010, it was the first time I'd really been away from home, the first time that I'd been away from my parents. And I have no family here, no friends who I haven't made at OWU. So why then come to Ohio Wesleyan? Well, I don't know how much you know about the Indian education system, but we don't really have the concept of liberal arts colleges. When students apply to institutions of higher education, you apply with a major in mind, and you stick to that field very strictly until you graduate. I wasn't, and still am not, 100% sure of what I want to do with my life. And the idea of having to commit to one discipline was a little too oppressive for me. And through my research, through my college research process, I found one thing that really appealed to me about OWU, and that was its large international community. I think the current figure is somewhere at 11%, which for a college of our size is no small feat. It was only after coming here that I realized just how large and how supportive this network of people is. Right from organizing to pick us up from the airport as freshmen, to taking us shopping for winter clothes, which I'm sure you understand the importance of, to organizing trips to New York and DC over spring breaks and Thanksgiving, when international students may not have the means to fly home nor have other places to go. I've experienced all these things here at OWU, and I can tell you it has certainly made my experience here more enjoyable and a lot easier. But even for non-internationals, OWU is not a typical college. I have friends at large state schools and other small private schools all across the country, and none of them, I assure you, talk about travel quite in the way an Ohio Wesleyan student does. What this college does is not only encourage, but also foster a thirst for travel amongst its students that stays with you a long time after you graduate. While my travel abroad experience is limited to being here at OWU, I have friends who have studied abroad in China, Argentina, Spain, Belgium, Morocco, and India, the Czech Republic, who have gone on travel learning courses to exotic locations like Costa Rica, Alaska, Brazil, Mexico, Scotland, London, and Vietnam, and who have got tippet grants to places like Nepal, Dubai, and Barcelona. Programs such as the OWU Course Connections make interdisciplinary studies possible and allow students to approach global problems from a multidimensional aspect. I do believe that an Ohio Wesleyan student leaves this campus with a heightened appreciation for what it means to be a global citizen and a global leader. None of these experiences would be possible without the generous support of our alumni, who want students like me to have a transformative college experience like they had when they went here. And I do believe that this initiative regarding Merrick Hall will only broaden the scope of the possibility for all Ohio Wesleyan students, including the prospective freshmen gathered here today. As a senior, I'm asked every day what I plan to do when I graduate. Honestly, at this point, I wish I knew. But as uncertain and as scary as it can get, I do know and I do believe that I have been uniquely equipped by my Ohio Wesleyan education to take on any challenge that I may face. Every year, the profile of this institution rises, and I know, thanks to initiatives like this, it has a bright future ahead of it, and I, for one, am really excited. Thank you.
Thanks. Oop, I'm a little bit little. Thanks, Aaron, Chris. I don't know how you can top those stories, but certainly our donors have. As Rock said, this is an extraordinary moment for Ohio Wesleyan and one that highlights the tremendous connection and love that people feel for this alma mater. Before we conclude our program, some of our current students have a special message they'd like to share with our donors, with all the alumni and friends who support the life-changing experiences that we all have here at Ohio Wesleyan. Show is yours.
As we close, I'm going to ask Elaine if she might pan the crowd so you can all express your gratitude to our donors who are watching via web stream. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the day.